Hi Bear, it's Jesse on TV, back with another video, and last night Rangers were in action in the William Hill Scottish Cup quarter-final replay against Aberdeen, and unfortunately it finished Rangers 0, Aberdeen 2, goals come from Niall McGinn and Connor McLean, and yeah, the Rangers starting 11 that played last night was Alan McGregor nets, back four of Taverner, Goldson, Worrell and Barisic, midfield three of Jack, Kamara, Arfield, up front Candace, Morelos and Kent. And yeah, like I say, first couple of minutes Rangers looked to be looking to try and get an early goal, but within 3 minutes Aberdeen managed to get the ball from a pass back from Worrell. I think it was Stevie May gets the ball, hits it across, and Niall McGinn taps it in. And yeah, as soon as that kind of happened, I'd say Ibrox just was in shock. I even think that some of the players really seemed to not want to at least try and give it a go. I think some people had said, or fans had said, they looked as if basically Rangers would turn up and basically score for fun. But yeah, Aberdeen wanted it more. I know obviously there were bookings. Candace got booked for a challenge that wasn't as bad, but I think it was a tackle he did, and he got booked in the 30th minute. 3 minutes later, Morelos gets booked, which was absolutely ridiculous. Ball gets played into the box, and I can't remember if it was McKenna or Constantine. I think McKenna literally has his arm on him, pulls him back, and ref game stops. And I think most of the fans in Ibrox, or Rangers fans, thinking that Rangers getting a penalty. But when you kind of see the couple of minutes that the Aberdeen defender isn't getting booked, obviously Morelos is still on the floor, and you then start to wonder, well, if the Aberdeen defender hasn't been booked now, then it looks like Morelos is getting booked, and I think a lot of people would put it down to the ref saying that he dived, which was ridiculous. There was no way he dived. And yeah, like from basically 34th minute onwards, it was basically Aberdeen were just basically by the pulling, tackling, quite some tackles, maybe not booking material, shall we say. I know Stevie May got booked in 4 minutes later. I think it was a tackle in McGregor or Worrell. I obviously, sitting wise, couldn't really see. I know a lot of fans had maybe thought of red. Blows Ferguson in the 42nd minute. Rangers are going near the box, and I think it's Kent or Arfield are in near the area. Gets brought down. Ref gives a free kick. Free kick doesn't really amount to much. Ball goes down the Aberdeen right, and Ferguson tackles someone again. I think it was Jack, and the ref does nothing, and it was literally, you can say if it was anywhere else, and he probably wasn't booked. You're more likely to say he was going to get booked. Second half, in the 53rd minute, Niall McGinn, obviously, kind of angle again. According to McGregor, McGinn apparently went in studs. McGregor said to the ref, look, he's come in studs showing, and McGinn gets booked. And like I say, the first half, Rangers just seemed to, there was more passing from side to side, kind of usual, if you want to say, tiki-taka style. And I get, teams that do tiki-taka. I know teams like Barcelona, Ajax, Man City, you could even say probably Arsenal, etc. Play tiki or do a style of tiki-taka football, but I think a lot of fans, especially last night, were just annoyed that the ball was either going from side to side, going to someone, whether it was say Jack being a bit more advanced, or to Kent or Candace, and within about 2 minutes of going maybe a few steps forward, the ball was going back down and then going back from side to side, and it just seemed that Rangers, or quite a few of the players, just were maybe some weren't up for it, I don't know, but it just seemed that some players really weren't on form. And on the 62nd minute, the ball is getting played in. Stevie May gets the ball, looks up, hits the ball across again, and McLean taps it in to make it 2-0. 4 minutes later, Rangers make a double substitution. Scott Arfield went off for Jermaine Defoe, and Daniel Candace went off for Kyle Lafferty. And Defoe had scored a goal, but apparently the ref, or the linesman, sorry, had given offside. Obviously, I haven't seen if he was off or not, but if he's off, it's unlucky for him. If it's onside and the linesman's given offside, it's just basically would sum up last night's performance, like it wasn't good enough. And on the 80th minute, Steve Davis came on for Kamara, and I think you could tell as soon as from the 62nd minute that Aberdeen were going to shut up shop. They were going to take the 2-0 lead and basically start looking at resting players for probably the weekend, and just bring defenders on or midfielders to basically shut up shop. And came to full time, Aberdeen go through, and I know some people have said about, is Gerrard the right man for the job? It's I think like some teams that maybe, it's all fine saying it, but I think, it's the phrase of, I was told from some, if you sack someone, regardless of team, and you sack the manager, or you're determined that you want this manager gone, you then have to look at kind of the bigger picture and go, well, who will come in and take the job, who's going to be given money to bring probably new players in, and who's going to be able to, be given a chance or an opportunity to compete, and maybe even go, compete for the league, maybe even compete for one of the cups as well, compete or do well in Europe. It's more of a longer question of looking for a manager to come in rather than stick with Gerrard. If I'm honest, I think I'd keep Gerrard. It's not. I've got nothing against him. I know some fans were wanting the formation to change, and there has been a few games. Kilmarnock, I think it was can't remember when, but not in the replay. 4-2-3-1 seemed to be the formation that seems to really puzzle Rangers or stop Rangers playing. Some people said that Barisic was basically if he was going forward, he was basically getting marked by two Aberdeen players. It's the same with Taverner, which you could probably say is true, but in the overall game for me, I'd say if you're kind of going by who played well, who was okay, I think, or my opinion was, probably the best two was probably Jack and McGregor. McGregor obviously couldn't do anything with the 2 goals. Didn't really have much. Can't think much really anything else he did. Jack was unlucky at a corner from Kent that came in. I think it was something like the 10th minute and hit the post. Did okay playing wise, trying to get the ball forward. I'd say Morelos had an okay game, but kind of the bigger picture or the main problem that I felt and some fans were saying was there was no service to him. He was basically standing, whether the ball was coming to him, he was holding it up, passing out to maybe Candace, to Arfield or to Jack or Kamara. That was it. There was nothing else happening. It was having to try and run into the box. We all know what McKenna and Arfield, McKenna and Morelos have had in the last league game when they both got sent off. So we know McKenna's obviously going to try and do anything and everything he can to stop Morelos scoring. The same as Cosgrove will be the same. Obviously, him and McKenna have played quite a lot together in centre back, so that was obviously a thing that was helping Aberdeen. And Kamara was okay, had a few moments, but I think, or what it looked was, he was a bit more defensive than he has been the last couple of games. I think Arfield was okay, but again, like most of the team, there was nothing. I think with Aberdeen having 5 in midfield, it was definitely showing that number-wise in midfield that Aberdeen were dominating. The defence wasn't, I would say, was okay. I think probably Golson probably had the better game out of the 4. I think Barisic didn't have a good game but was okay. Worrell seems to, I don't know if it's pace, but the last couple of games pace seems to be beating him. I know the Kilmarnock game in the replay before we played at Aberdeen, I think it was Brophy was beating him from pace. When we played Dundee in the league, I don't know if it was their winger or striker managed to beat Wall for pace. And last night, Stevie May, something that I didn't know was kind of fast, was just running past Worrell as if he wasn't there. I think Taverner first half was really off the pace. He didn't even look. He looked completely different to the guy we'd seen. Obviously, having either a good game or a great game. Second half, he got slightly better, but it's things, and even people were saying like corners, why is Taverner taking corners when, or some free kicks when you've got Ken or Barisic who seem to have a better way to put the ball in odds, like rather than say put it back post near enough every time that it's going, say near the middle of the box and causing problems. Obviously that's down to the manager. Candace, probably not. I'd say probably one of these a few games that he was poor. I don't know whether that was because he was getting kicked and pulled back, but he didn't have his best game. I think Kent really seemed to be a different player from what was seen, say, about a few weeks ago. He seemed to not. I think last night was more of showing maybe the physicality with Aberdeen. He can't handle. He seemed to really not drive past players and get beat players as often and try and do something. It was just seemed to get the ball, try and beat a man. If he did, the ball was then having to go back, or it just didn't seem to have the creativity that it has done. But again, I know that, with the amount of games we've played so far, especially, the league's a 38 game season, plus you've obviously got the Cups, plus Europe, that you are going to have a few off games. Hopefully that was his off game. Defoe and Lafferty seemed to do okay, or tried, but obviously didn't seem to have much in the game. Davis, when he came on, you probably think, maybe with Harfield off, he would have maybe a bit of passing about a good pass, but he seemed to just kind of what every midfielder was doing, was putting the ball to the side or trying to put it to Morelos, and then it would come back. So it'll be interesting to see if Davis will stay in the summer. I know a lot of fans have said so far last night that he just doesn't seem to be the player that was at Rangers before. Whether that's down to match games, I know at Southampton, especially this season, I think he's maybe had a couple of starts, and I think most of his time has been from the bench. But overall, like I say, it was basically a game between two teams. One, like I say, personally, one team turning up thinking it's going to be a walkover and will score. Another team set up reasonably well and basically wanted it, and whether you like him or not, I think you've got to kind of accept Neil McInnes got Aberdeen drilled properly and well. And yes, I get obviously the tackling, the sharp pulling back of the players, etc. But come the end of the day, or at the end of the 90 minutes, they scored 2 goals and go into the semi-final. And yeah, now I think it's Rangers play Saturday at home to Kilmarnock, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Saturday. Hopefully, this will be a kind of a blip, and Saturday will be different. But we know again, Steve Clarke's someone that has a killer team that fight hard and will, even if will score 1 goal, and probably 9 times out of 10 would accept it and just shut up shop. And we need to be very careful, because with some of the players Kill have got, obviously at the minute. Jordan Jones, you've got Brophy, they've got pace, so that's going to be interesting to see if those two players start or they will use a pace kind of team. But yeah, a disappointing night, obviously, mainly, ref official decisions and bad tackling and stuff from Aberdeen. You've got to hope that it won't happen again. But yeah, thanks everyone that's been watching. Please remember to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. Just helps the channel and shows your support. And yeah, I'll see you probably on Friday to go over the starting 11, or my starting 11 for Rangers Kelly on Saturday. And yeah, thanks, I'll see you soon. Right, bye guys.